Another Monday is here and we are live on the tracker on Citi TV. Now, as far as household names on the local scene are concerned, you cannot discuss the Ghana Premier League and household names without talking about our guest on the show today. I'm talking about none other than Accra Hearts of Oak and Black Stars legend Dan Quaye. He'll be telling us about exactly what he's been up to, what made his career so great, and what made him one of the most notable right fullbacks in the country. He went with the team to the Under-17 World Cup in Egypt. He played in the 2006 World Cup in Germany. So it's a rich career. It's laden with a lot of stories. Today, we'll be finding out a lot more about him on the show. Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll get into our motivational video. It talks about dreaming big. And then, of course, we get today's conversation on the road. Welcome back to the tracker here on Citi TV. Let's get to our motivational video for today. It talks about dreaming big. It talks about sticking with your goals while dreaming big. And it talks about accomplishing and not just dreaming. Have a look at this.
I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I hope none of you can relate. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I was sitting in my mother's beauty shop. They still call it beauty shops now? What they call it now? Yeah, I'll sit in the beauty parlor. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer. And every time she looked up, every time I looked up, she was looking at me, just looking me in the eye. And I didn't know who she was, and I said, she said, somebody give me a pen, give me a pencil. I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975, she said, boy, you are gonna travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now, mind you, I was flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the Army. I didn't know what I was gonna do, and she's telling me I'm gonna travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world, and I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the most important thing, the success that I had. The most important thing is that what she taught me and what she told me that day has stayed with me since. I've been protected, I've been directed, I've been corrected. Fail big. That's right. Fail big. You only live once, so do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done.
And remember that dreams without goals are just that, dreams. The man before me today is accomplished. He set goals and he managed to knock down those goals, and that's why he's sitting before me today. Dan Quaye, it's good to have you on the tracker.
Thank you very much.
One of the most interesting things I just found out is the fact that the name Dan Quaye, as it suggests, is very deceptive because you are not even a Ghanaian. I hear that you are all the way from the northern region. Tell me about that, about being from the northern region and how you came by the name Dan Quaye.
Okay, thank you very much. Any interview that I would grant, people start to asking me whether I'm a Ghanaian or not.
Yeah.
Though the name Dan Quaye, you know, but me, I'm a Northerner. My dad and mom come from the Upper West region, village called Laura. So they came to Accra during the 70s. And I was born in Accra too.
Oh, okay.
Tesh Nungwa. There my parents settled. So the house that we went and rent, my father and my mother were there. There is a certain man, the landlord, they call him Mr. Quaye. But he's one of the dubious people in that area. So according to my dad, he said when they give birth to me, the man was very kind to them, like brother to them. So at the age of 6, when I was 6, any place that the man would go there, I started crying. So the man, I would follow the man, and the man would take me along until I got to 10 years. So any place that when you go, the man carried me along. Then they would say, "Hey, Mr. Quaye, your son, Obile." And the man, he couldn't give birth, but now it's not alive. Okay. So may his soul rest in peace. So when I started playing football, age of 10 up to 17 years, that time, you know, I'm a mature. So my dad told me that now my name will go to the highest. So I have to try and put the man's name on beside my name. But my real name is Daniel Ziem Quaye.
Daniel Ziem. So Ziem is actually your father's name? Yeah,
my father's name. But the Quaye is the man who
adopted you almost like a father. That's a very, very touching story. Now, I also found out that you were actually born in Tema. You were born at the Tema General Hospital. Tell me a little bit about your early introduction to football, Abiase Stars. Who introduced you and how did you yourself pick up the game?
Okay, age of 10 years, I have an uncle. He also died. He's a player. Okay. And that he started playing the coach team called Abiase. Okay. So anytime that and the park just near our home, about 10 minutes to the field, the training ground and the place they used to play the match. So when he's going to training, I have to follow him. So when he saw me following him, then he look at the back and he see me, then he want to sack me. Yeah. So anytime I keep on watching, when he start that he's going to pick his boot, then I was when he picked the boot and he go out and he's going, then I will start following him. So immediately he saw me, he said, "Hey, go home." He made almost about 4 times, but he said, "No, this boy."
You weren't going away.
I wasn't going away. So he said, "This boy, I will leave him. Maybe in future he can play football." So I started that time they have under 15 and under 12 and under 17. So he took me to the under 14 and under 12. So I started from there until 17 years. I moved to the senior side. I played there almost about 5 years before 90s. Okay. In the year 90, I moved to Accra, a team called Cowlen Babies. And there too, I came to the under 17 side. And after the season, that time they have a height. You go to the wall, then they will maybe if you are more than 5 feet, then you be disqualified. So they disqualify about 20 players on the under 17 during my time. So that time Gordon Atram, Lai, Aziz Ansah, they were playing the under 14.
Okay.
So I joined them in the 17. So we played. I started playing with them. So 2000 and I think 94 when we won the Greater Accra League.
Yeah.
Then they said they will play regionals. You know, first they played regionals. Yeah. And we went to Kumasi, that regionals, Milo Games, and we went to Kumasi. And that time, I think the Ghana Football Association, they want to form an academy, like National Academy. And we were the first people they started with. If you remember, in Winneba,
Coach Samade and Sam Dodo
and they came and made the selection, the recruitment during the game that we are playing in Kumasi. And by His grace, we won the tournament. So they selected Cowling Babies in my team. They selected almost about 10 players.
Wow.
Me, Atram, Lai, Aziz Ansah.
Star-studded team.
Yeah. So there we went to Winneba.
Okay.
We stayed there almost about a year. So when the 95 people went to the World Cup and won the trophy, they came back. Then they give us the throne. So we won the 97 with Atram leading the team, captain.
We'll come back to that 1997 World Cup. Let's talk a little bit about your time with Great Olympics from 95, I believe. Around 95 is when you started playing for Olympics. Who was your coach at the time at Olympics, and what was it like to play for Great Olympics then? Because these days, Olympics now, unfortunately, have become synonymous with relegation and promotion almost simultaneously. What was it like to play for Olympics then? Okay,
that time, the coaches, I think this coach, from 11Y, Johnny Shen.
Johnny Shen.
Yeah, that time, Johnny Shen.
Blessed memory.
It was the coach that time. And so that time, you see, that time too, it wasn't easy because that time they introduced Ketereza, like they have the first team and the second team. So the second team will come and play there around 12 o'clock. Otogali give the even the second team name Otogali. Yeah, like Otogali. And that second team, when you go to Europe, they did the same thing. For instance, if you are a key player or you got injury, you have to start from the second team before. And then you build your fitness to the first. So that time, during our time, it wasn't easy because they have a lot of players. So me like this, I started from there. Before even my first chance down, my first breakthrough that I will get in Kumasi. That time we have one boy called New Boy Sam. I think the contract has ended, and they said he have to go and play that Kotoko match. After when he come to Accra, then they will sit down with him. Then they negotiate the contract. But when we went to Kumasi, the guy said no, you won't play. So that time even me, they said I should go and play the second team. So I went and picked my jersey. We do everything on the hotel. We went to the bus. And during the bus inside, then I got an Astram called me and said, no, Dan, coach said he wanted to use you in the first team, so you have to drop. Then I said, hey, first team, that time, you know, they have Joe Debra,
senior players in the team.
It's not easy. That's why I said anytime when you have leaders among your group, it's better. Because that time I have Kobra Sedu, Amataria. So they give me the encouragement. So I sit here and see anytime that anything that you are doing, you have to get a leadership on it because they help me a lot.
Tell me about trading Olympics for Accra House of Folk, because it looks like you are not the only one to have made that transition. There are lots of Accra Hearts of Oak Olympics players that have made the jump to Accra House of Oak, including your old teammate Charles Taylor. Now, what was it like about Hearts of Oak that attracted you, and how was the signing process like? How did they get you to sign for them?
Okay, that time, okay, I would say when John Eshen left, Sir Asante Kotoko came and took over in Olympics. Yeah. So when he moved to House of Oak, then
he wanted you to come with him.
He wanted me to come and play for us. So I think Jones went and told them that he need me in their team. So they do everything with the management in Olympics, then they allow me to go.
Now, talking about Jones and Hearts of Oak, of course, you know that we'll talk about the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. What was it that made that Hearts of Oak team so great? I mean, Ishmaelado was in there, Charles Taylor was in there, Jacob Nete was in there, yourself. It was such a great collection. It's one of those teams that when we talk about, you cannot point to 2 or 3 players and say 3 players were great. It was just an overall great team. But what are the other things that also ensured that you went on to win a title? Because there are a lot of great teams that have not won titles.
You know, that time, the secret is we are unity. And we have a lot of experienced players. For instance, I played Olympics more than 5 years before I went to Haas. Osei also play another drafts. And Joe Ansan, Afienya, even Ajogu, you see. So all the players that we assembled in House of Oak, that time we have the experience already. So the coach didn't find any difficult in the team. So any direction that he will give, we just pick it. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, you look at the modern Accra Hearts of Oak team, Asante Kotoko, and all the other big teams that are going around. Since you guys won the Champions League, nobody has even come close to winning the Champions League again. What do you think is wrong with the current team, and why have they not been able to go on to repeat the success that your batch managed to achieve?
That one, I keep on saying that House of Oak, Kotoko, they have to, you know, House of Oak is the biggest team like Barcelona, Real Madrid. So, like Kotoko, the same. They have them to
big players, but they don't make it to the stage they want.
They have to find experienced players. You see, they have to blend the youth and the seniors. Because when you go to Europe, even Bayern Munich, Juventus, they have a lot of experienced players. You see, though we are not saying that young ones are not playing, but they need guidance on the field. Though they have coach, but we need the leadership on the field. You see, I'm captain. I'm the same age with you. So if we are playing and I made a mistake, because we are the same age, you cannot talk to me that, hey, you have to do like this. But if a senior like me, and I'm playing with this, for instance, this Kotoko player, Kujo, you know I'm a senior, so anything that I will say,
he listens
will listen. So that's the problem. They have to find experienced players. And one thing about Ghana football, when you play here and you have an offer outside, then maybe you went outside maybe about 2 or 3 years and you want to come back, they said you are old. And that old, you know.
Those are the experienced players you think are needed to win a championship.
Yes. Because when you go to Nigeria like this, and they're not
African countries,
there are a lot of experienced players.
That's a very good example. Abu Chika and a guy like Hosni, the goalkeeper. El Hadari, they played to like almost 40, 41 years.
Goalkeeper, 46, but he went to
the
World Cup. Because of the experience he has. So that's why we are saying they should blend the young ones and the seniors. They should, in Europe like this, unless you, the senior player, you said you won't play again before they will retire you. Look at Buffon.
True.
Have you seen it?
True.
So they should stop that criticize. That
early retirement of players.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about Jones Atukwe. Of course, he's not with us again. May his soul rest in peace. But for me, he's the greatest ever Ghanaian coach that lived. Give me just three things that made Jones Atukwe great. Having worked with him at Olympics, having worked with him at House of Oak, what made him such a great coach?
Oh, Sir Jones is like fathers to us. One, the way if you have problem, when you go to him, the way he will solve the problem for you, and the way he will give you advice after football, what next, and three, if you are disciplined, you can work with Jones, because he's a man of principle. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, you played a lot of games against rivals Asante Kotoko, and what a lot of people don't know is that you are a self-confessed Asante Kotoko fan. I remember the CAF Confed Cup when you were going to take your penalty and you raised your hand to the crowd.
Yeah.
Kotoko fans have still not been able to get over that particular defeat. That House of Folk team did not look like they were going to win that title, especially at certain points in the game. You equalized very late in the game at a point to take the game eventually even to penalties. What was it about that game that convinced you that you were going to win that title, even though that game was in Kumasi?
Oh, that game, because of the determination that we have on that game, that's why. And any time that, this is the secret I want to tell the supporters. Asante Kotoko, it's not by form, it's the determination of the players. And second, if you are playing home, you have a lot of pressure on you. So when we play the match in Accra, the 1-1, we thank God, because we know Kotoko, when they are, any time that they play in Accra,
they do well.
Either we draw or they score. But so far as we play draw, we know that Kumasi, whether rain or shine, we beat them.
Your best memories from Asante Kotoko House of Folk matches, what's your best memory from playing in those games?
That's the Confederation.
The Confederation.
The one we won penalties. Because, you know, it's an international match and the same time local derby. So that match I will never forget in my life.
Being a Kotoko fan, I mean, how were you treated after the game? I mean, here's the guy who supports Kotoko, but he plays for House of Folk. You've helped House of Folk to defeat the team that you support. How was the reaction like from your own fans and then also from Kotoko fans?
Oh, I'm doing my job, so they don't have anything to say. Because, for instance, when you go to Harbour, there are a lot of degrees that they have qualification. But because of the no fuel that they will get, so maybe the business that they want to do is not clearing agent, but because they don't have that business to do, so you have to go to clearing agent so that maybe you get some little money.
So as for you, it was a job?
I'm doing my job, so I don't care whether I'm a Kotoko fan or I'm not a Kotoko fan. I'm just doing my job to have my money.
Just before we wrap up the conversation on the local league and playing the local league, you came back and played for 11 Wise as well at a point. Tell me, if, like, looking at the league right now, from where you stood, played as a youngster, come back from China, come to play as a veteran, what would you change or do to help the league now, if you could do one or two things to make this league better?
They have to involve the experienced players so that the game will be. I remember when we came to Olympics, Atram, Richard Kinsey, and me, and Osebwatin. You know, anytime that we travel, maybe in Kumasi to play a match or BA, you see a lot of supporters because they have seen us long time. So they want to come and see whether it's true that Dan Quaye or I do remember our match against Kotoko in Kumasi. After the game, I was supposed to join the bus, but because of the supporters, they know me in House of Folk. They say no, they don't believe that
it is Dan Quaye.
It is Dan Quaye. So even the bus, I didn't join the bus on the stadium. The bus came to the roadside.
Wow.
And the supporters were following me. They want to, in Kumasi, after Otunfo, I'm there. Because anytime that I go to Kumasi, people want to see me, have chat with me. So even if it's not, it wasn't the policemen, like, they don't want me to join the bus to Accra.
I mean, do you wish that you could have played for Asante Kotoko at a point before you had retired?
Yeah, that one there is true. Because I remember after the Confederation, I make a step to play Kotoko, but because of some reasons, that's why I returned. By His grace, when I returned, I went to the World Cup.
But you don't have any regrets about it that you didn't play Kotoko?
Oh, no. I don't have any regret because I joined one of the biggest teams and I won trophies. So I thank God.
Interesting. The conversation is just about to get a tad more exciting here on the tracker. Let's take a quick break here on the tracker. When we come back, we'll get to more on the Dan Quaye discussion.
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subjects you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on Citi TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on Citi TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks and tune in to Class Act only on Citi TV.
Citi TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access Citi TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV on your television. Citi TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. Citi TV, it's your world.
Welcome back to the tracker here on Citi TV. We are still talking to Accra Heart of Folk and Black Stars legend Dan Quaye here on the show. Dan, let's talk about your time with the Under-17, 1997 World Cup in Egypt. I think Ghana was defeated by Brazil.
Yeah.
That Brazilian team had the likes of Ronaldinho in there. First of all, I mean, tell me about the experience of playing that. You played against, I think, Argentina, Bahrain, Costa Rica at a point. We played Oman, we beat them, and then we met Brazil. What was it like for you as a young player getting the chance to go to a World Cup, and how did that help your career going forward?
Yeah, it was amazing because as a footballer, you have to play your national teams for instance, from the youth up to the highest. So I think that tournament we went, I think is one of the best tournament that I started because age of 17, I went to the national under-17 World Cup in Egypt.
Yeah.
From there, because of I have a slight injury, so I couldn't play the under-20.
Yeah.
So I think as a player, you have to play your national team.
Give you the exposure.
Give you the exposure so that you
One guy who made a big name for himself at that competition was Owusu Efrie, or Beye at the time. He was so popular during the competition, and in fact, in the few months after the competition, that I'm surprised that he's not one of the guys very talked about. In fact, we can almost say that he didn't fulfill his potential. Knowing him and having played with him, what do you think could have contributed to that?
You know, Owusu Efrie is one of the young talented that time, but because of injuries, you know, in our business, if you have an injury and you couldn't treat it well, it will become difficult to you so that you can continue your career. So I think during injury, that's why he couldn't make it to the app.
You look at a guy like Ronaldinho as well. I mean, having seen him at that under-17 level, did you think that he would like end up becoming as big as he eventually became?
Oh yeah, that one there is true. Even you could see during the tournament. From there, he moved to the he moved to under-20. Look at the wonderful performance he put on the under-20. He moved to the under-23 before the senior side. So even that tournament is one of the one of the best players among the tournament. So it wasn't a surprise to me that Ronaldinho moved to the highest.
And then there was also Xavi and Casillas at the time also playing for Spain. I mean, generally speaking, from your own understanding, who was the most talented player at that time? Because these guys we are talking about now only became prominent in the years after the competition. At that point for you, who was the most talented player at that time?
That time I would choose Ronaldinho.
Definitely.
Yeah, that one there.
And among the Ghana squad?
Yeah, that one there.
I mean, among the Ghana squad yourself, within your squad, who do you think was the most talented player in your team?
I think Gordon Atram. You know, that time he also have a move in Holland, PSV Eindhoven. So that time I think Gordon Atram, we think maybe it will play to the highest. But he did it because he moved to Egypt.
Yeah, Gordon Atram definitely played the Black Stars even prominently at a point.
So I think he did his best.
Talk to me a little bit about Coach Osam Dodu, because in Ghana, I mean, you are hailed up until you die, and then when you die, we make a lot of noise about you, and then we forget about everything that you've contributed to the game. Having known him, having worked with him, he was one of those who selected you to go to win it. But talk to us a little bit about what the man was like behind the scenes, what made him such a great coach and one who discovered so many players.
I would say Sam Dodu too is one of the greatest coach, because when you see the players that he recruited from grassroots and some of them became stars. Yeah. I think it's amazing. So we Ghana like this, I would say when you are alive, they don't recognize you. When you gone before, when you die and gone before, you see a lot of big tributes. So this is the time we have to stop that things. And if the person is alive, we have to do our possible to help the person before he died.
I mean, when I watched your demeanor on the pitch back in the day, it was easy for me to think that you probably would have ended up becoming a coach, because one, you were always so disciplined. One of the things we always used to laugh about was the fact that your jersey was always properly tucked in, never out of your shorts. Why was that? Like, why is it that you were always serious about having your jersey always tucked in properly? Why?
Because I'm in my office, and if you are going to your office, you tuck in. So far as I enter the field, I have to be properly dressed, so that anything that I will do, people will see that I'm a serious person. That's why they used to call me Kofi Wayo,
Oh, that's where the name came
Yeah.
from. Because you always had this serious mindset about.
Yeah.
I remember Charles Taylor saying that you were one of the more stubborn players of that Hearts of Folk team. Stubborn in quotes, not like bad stubborn, but you were always this guy who was like, didn't talk too much, but always motivating players in the background. How come you didn't decide on a career as a coach when your career wound up?
Oh, that one there is true. Now I'm off from the field. I started coaching young ones, like 10 years. I have a school in Tema, to 12. The school name is Rose Sharon. They approached me that they want to grow talent for football. So they choose me to come and help them so that I will coach the young ones. So now I'm in. So if God bless, maybe I will become one of the biggest coaches.
Nice one. That's very encouraging to hear. Let's talk about your time also with the senior national team, the Black Stars. Now, you played in a few of the qualifiers and eventually made it to the 2006 World Cup. When you started your career, I'm not sure you dreamt about playing a World Cup. How big was that for you? And now that you sit here thinking about it, what are some of the best memories that you left that World Cup with?
Yeah, that's why I said as a player, you have to achieve your dreams high, because I started from the 17. So my second dream is to play the either African Cup or the Senior World Cup. By His grace, I'm among the first team that in Guinness Book of Records, if
your name is always there.
My name is always there. So, and even the one thing that I learned from this World Cup is, for instance, the approaching of the games. The way, for instance, if we are going to away to play a match, the way the supporters, the fans, and even the hotel that you go in, the reception that they will give you in the hotel is very amazing. So I think, I do remember when we went to England, the pre-season. After that, we moved to the
Austria and then to Germany.
Austria to Germany. Yeah. When we went to Germany airport, the way the supporters was there, and from there to the hotel, when we went to the hotel, the reception that they give us, and even the hotel room, before I would go, they write, Mr. Dan Quaye, you are welcome to our hotel. And the parcel that in front of your bed is so amazing.
I mean, you didn't play in the competition itself. John Pinto played all the matches, but how did it feel like? I mean, knowing that you are good enough to play, but you are sitting back and watching the competition happen. How was that like for you?
Oh, I feel pain because though, you know, we supposed all the 18 players are good. You see, though I would say I didn't have the chance to kick the ball, but I'm so happy because that team. It will be difficult before we get
a team
like that because the leadership is 100%, and even the teamwork during that time. That's why I told you, because we have a lot of experience players, Osei Kufuor, Otuado, John Mensah, Stephen Appiah, Sule Muntari, Michael Essien. So the young ones that joined, they couldn't feel, oh, maybe Essien thing is playing Chelsea, is big than me. We move together, we do everything together. So I think that team, I would choose that team that one of the best teams in Ghana.
The greatest, if you can say that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Now, we also know that Laie Kingston, who you also played with, was not a member of that team, but he had also worked hard to become part of that particular setup. Having known Laie from Olympics, Hearts of Folk, and then eventually him just missing out on the team because of one or two issues, how did you feel for him?
Oh, I feel pity, because Lai too is one of the great players among that squad. But during because of some issues, that's why they decided to not take him there. But I think that's their decision. So, because as a player, you have to play to the highest. And even that match, even that tournament, will sell him more. But he couldn't make it. So I think that time is very sad too.
The 2006 squad is an interesting squad. I'll tell you why. I've heard different accounts of things that happened during that World Cup. The accounts don't seem to come together. The management members say one thing, some of the players that were on the team say one thing. Some players say that there was almost a money issue that almost destroyed our World Cup because some people were promised some money and then there was a change of mind or a change of heart by officials later. Was there such a thing? Did such an issue come up? And in your opinion, why was it handled the way it was handled?
No. During my time, everything was perfect because I think that's the first year MPP,
qualified,
MPP took over the throne from NDC. So I think they did their homework before we moved to the World Cup. So in money issues that time, we didn't find any money issues. Everything was perfect.
The standby players didn't have any problem?
Though, no, but we took the standby players also to the competition. So I think about 3 days to the competition, then they settled everybody, then they came back to Ghana. So I think that tournament, we didn't find like money problem or some issues, no.
Now, of course, you are talking about how there had been a political changeover, and so there was no issues with money. We still haven't been able to win an AFCON. We missed out on a chance to make it to a semi-final. Do you think money is an issue with the Black Stars and it is preventing us from winning trophies?
No, it's not all about money. They have to open up. We have to open up because we have a lot of people who have ideas. So that
when you say open up, you mean they should open up the national team?
Yeah, they have to open up the national team so that anybody that you have ideas can bring on board. But now we don't have that opportunity. So I think this is the place that the GFA, they have to tackle it so that it will help.
Now, I've seen Olele Kingston, Stephen Apea, Augustine Ahimful and co serve in the national team. Do you think that you are ready to serve in the national team in any capacity at this point?
No, I'm not ready. I'm now learning, so with time, I will be there.
Interesting. Tell me also a little bit about leadership in the national team because it's become such a controversial matter. Jerry Akamenko, I spoke to him a while ago, says that Ghana lost AFCON 2019 before leaving to Egypt because we were fighting about captaincy here before the tournament even started. What did you make of that entire situation? Jan deciding to retire because he had been stripped of his general substantive captaincy and all the issues surrounding the AFCON. What do you make of that particular matter?
For leadership, that's why I said they should learn from Stephen Apea. I do remember when we are in camp during that 2006. The qualifiers and when we went to the World Cup too. You won't see anything like Stephen Apea wants to boast like, hey, I'm the captain, so maybe I will control you people. No. We eat together, we do everything together. Captainship is not all about maybe you are the captain, so you have to set example. You see, for instance, if you are a captain in the field, that one there we know inside the field you are the boss. But if we are outside, you are not the boss again. So you have to cooperate with everybody. You see, and that make you a leader.
Now CK Akono is head coach of the national team. A lot of excitement has been generated by that because in his first official call-up, he invited 5 local players. You are fortunate to have been one of the few local players to have played in the national team and even gone to a World Cup at a point. Do you feel as if we are unfair to local players when it comes to opportunities with the national team?
I would say some place I would say yes. Some place I would say no. Because why? Now the league is not going on. Mm-hmm. So if you want to invite a lot of local players, mm-hmm. and they are not playing the league.
Sure.
And some people said, okay, those outside, even 50% doesn't belong to the first team.
Yeah.
But he's playing in outside. And the qualities that he have in outside is better than the one in sure. the local scene.
Sure.
So I think during our time, it's different. Even our time, you won't see maybe this player. Only the famous players is maybe Steven Appiah, Michael Essien. You know, for them, they are worldwide. But a lot of foreign players, they are like us. Even when we went to the World Cup, I do remember our first game against Jamaica, the friendly match. Yeah. After the game, Asante Kotoko granted an interview, and they asked him, I think this number 22 is a foreign player. He said, no, it's a local player. Yeah. I said, why? He played like a foreign player. You see, that time we don't know this is foreign player or because of the unity.
Yeah.
You see, so they have to follow Steven Appiah's steps so that this captainship and the leadership qualities, they have to bring it down, because other than that, it will be difficult that Ghana can take African Cup, or maybe they will go to semi-final, because every African team is watching Africa, so that one day Africa will be in semi-final in the World Cup.
Talk to me about. I mean, you just spoke about professionals, a lot of them going abroad. I'm about to go into your time with China before we wrap up, but that Hearts of Folk team, right, the 64 Battalion team, a lot of you were, like I said, it was generally a star-studded team, but not a lot of you had such great careers abroad. I can talk about yourself, Charles Taylor, Ishmaelado. I would say that the three of you alone were good enough to have played for any of the big teams out there on your form at that time. Why didn't things play out for you people the way you wanted? Why didn't you perhaps get the sort of contracts that other youngsters now are getting, even though they have achieved less?
During our time, it's not like this time. During our time, things were not easy like this time. This time, when you perform one or two, you see an agent will pick you outside. Yeah. But during our time, though we are playing, but we didn't have that opportunity. Yeah.
Well, let's move into your time playing football in China. What led you to China, and what are some of your most standout memories from playing in the Chinese league?
This offer came closed doors. Even I wasn't know that I have an offer in China. You know, first, when the offer came, I said, because we've been watching movies, Chinese movies, you see. So when the offer came, I said, even it wasn't me alone. Yeah. I went with Gordon Ablade Morgan, then Don Bote, the same team. Chongqing. Yeah, that was the first team, Chongqing Lifan. So when the offer came and they called us at the secretariat, they said, oh, Dan, you three have an offer in China. I said, hey, are we going to fight Taekwondo or Karate? So we said, okay. I said, okay, I'd like to go. And Bote also said he want to go. So when we went, immediately we went to Beijing. I asked the agent that will come and pick us from the airport that, are we in America? He said, no, this is China capital. Virgin, and I said, wow. By that time, when we went to the Beijing, we think there we are going to assemble. But they said the team has gone to training pre-season on another city, so we have to join the team. So we fly another, I think, 2 hours to the city called Shenzhen. So we went to the training camp. There, we went to the hotel that the players, the team hotel. We went there, we do everything, and they have an interview, Chinese interview with, I think, TV station, CCTV.
Yeah.
Then they started interview Kwame Ayew. You know, Kwame Ayew
was playing in
is
China
the
at the time.
first
Yeah.
Ghanaian to play there. So I said, even I couldn't know that Kwame Ayew played there. Then they said, hey, Kwame Ayew. Oh, no. Then I have to play there. So I do remember our pre-season first training.
Yeah.
We see a lot of the supporters. They have Ghana flags.
Wow.
Then they write, Quaye, welcome to China. Welcome to China. I said, wow.
It was definitely a welcoming experience.
Welcome.
I mean, even now when players want to go and play in China, there's a lot of skepticism and a lot of negative energy. But having played there yourself back in the day, will you encourage players to take up offers in the Chinese league now?
That one there is true, because now they have a lot of foreign players. Even when we look at this, our friends, Brazilians.
Yeah.
And there, if you are Brazilian, you have a lot of money, because they like the Brazilians more. Yeah, they like the Brazilians. And now because they want to develop their football, so they put enough money inside. I think this guy, Franka Champon.
Yep.
He's
doing brilliantly in the Chinese league. Brilliantly in the Chinese league.
So now football is business. So I will encourage the young ones, if they have opportunities. Even I learned Wakaso too is going there. It's because of the money. Our time, we didn't have it. Even when I went to China, the money that I'm earning a month is peanut. But I made a name over there. Up to now, that city. I have a Caesar kick anytime.
They show it over and over again. Life after the game has been interesting. Now, you've been doing some work in partnership with Betway over the last 5 months. I, myself, have been privileged to witness this particular program, which is the 12th month program, spearheaded by Stephen Appiah. I know that it's different things for a lot of the different participants involved. For yourself, what have you been busy doing in the last 5 months as far as the Betway 12th month challenge is concerned?
Because of the workshop that the Betway have for us, I've been trying to introduce some business. Though I want to be in coaching business, by the way, because of the workshop that we've been doing, I do remember the days that I have money. One friend introduced me into some business, and the money just squared. So now, because of the Betway 12 men workshop, it has opened my mind for different businesses. So now, though I will do the coaching job, but now I think I have some knowledge that I want to introduce for through this Betway, so that I will do some business too.
So your business sense generally has been broadened. Some skills that you didn't have before has also been added to you. How was it like also just coming together with everybody else? Audu Isaka, Ali Jara, just seeing a host of these former national stars come together to try and like better themselves, to also in the end better their communities. How was it like for you just seeing a lot of these your old football mates in one place? Oh,
I'm so amazing, because it's a long time that we've been made. Though we have old footballers association, we have a platform that we've been charging. But you see, this Betway, because of Betway, lot of friends. For instance, I would do like this. Almost about 5 years. I haven't seen him before. And Ajua Bayo, then even Patrick Villas. The only time I met him in China, Beijing. Since that time, I haven't met him again. But through Betway, 12 men, every month, 2 days, we'll be meeting. Then we have chat. So I think we will thank Betway a lot, and especially our Capitano, Stephen Appiah, because it's one of the legends that I will never forget in my dreams, because Stephen has been helping me with some ways. So I thank God that I have such a friend within me.
Finally, last question before we go. I want you to name a top 3 for me. Who are your top 3 greatest Ghana Premier League players of all time? Top 3 greatest.
Now, or
the people you saw play, the people you played with. Top 3.
There's a member. Okay, first, me, I will choose Stephen Appiah. Yeah.
Second,
I will choose Charles Taylor.
Okay, and third?
Yeah. Third is me. Yeah.
I love that, Dan
Because
Quaye.
I'm proud of myself.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, Dan, for speaking to us here on the tracker. You heard the man himself. I love the last bit. Top 3 greatest Ghana Premier League players of all time. Stephen Appiah, Charles Taylor, and Dan Quaye. You heard it here first on the tracker on Citi TV. Same time next week, we'll come your way with the tracker.